Welcome to our deep dive today
Okay.
into the world of Little Shop of Horrors,
Oh,
specifically the 1986 film.
okay.
We'll be using a podcast
Okay.
called Retro Rewind as our guide for this.
Right.
And I'm sure you're familiar with at least like the basic premise,
Yeah.
singing plant, Skid Row.
Of course.
But today we're going to take you kind of behind the scenes,
Yeah.
looking at the layers
Yeah.
of this cult classic film.
Right.
And hopefully uncover some details that make it so unique.
Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors is so remarkable
Yeah.
because it's had so many different
Yeah.
forms,
Yeah.
Started as a low-budget film in the 60s,
Oh.
then it was off-Broadway musical, and then
Right.
finally it's a big screen
Yeah.
adaptation, and each one kind of,
Yeah.
builds on the last one.
Right.
And it stays true to the core of this bizarre and captivating tale.
It definitely speaks to like the lasting power of the story itself.
Right.
And this version, I think, is like a masterclass
Yeah.
in blending seemingly opposite genres.
Yeah.
I mean, sci-fi horror
Yes.
and a musical comedy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought a bloodthirsty plant
Right.
could be so entertaining?
It's a strange mix,
It is.
but it's so compelling,
Yeah.
and I think it's because it's so unexpected.
Yeah.
This combination, you've
Yeah.
got these upbeat doo-wop numbers,
Right.
but then also like murder manipulation addiction,
Yeah.
and instead of it clashing, it creates this
Right. Yeah.
dark comedy that
Yeah.
just keeps you hooked.
It does. I've always wondered
Yeah.
if the choice of doo-wop was intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it was a commentary on the innocence of that
That's
era?
just a great observation.
It creates such a contrast with the rest.
It does. Doo-wop makes you think of nostalgia and
Yeah.
simpler times.
Yeah.
And it clashes so brilliantly with the darker themes.
Yeah.
And I think that interplay between light and dark,
Yeah.
innocence and corruption, that makes it so unique.
Yeah. That's what gives it its flavor.
Exactly.
And speaking of light and dark,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the characters
Oh, yes.
who bring this world to life.
Of course.
Rick Moranis as Seymour.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He's just perfect.
Yeah.
He's so nerdy and well-meaning.
Yeah.
And then Ellen Greene,
Oh, my gosh.
who originated the role of Audrey on stage.
Yes.
Her performance is
It's iconic.
heartbreaking and hilarious at the same time.
It's amazing how they make these characters who are in these really outlandish situations feel so relatable.
Right.
Like you understand them.
Yeah.
You understand their flaws. You're rooting for them even as they're making
Yeah.
these terrible choices.
Yeah, they make some questionable choices for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's like their vulnerability.
Yes.
See that desperation to escape their circumstances.
Yes.
And even though their methods are unorthodox,
Yeah.
you can't help but empathize.
Exactly. And Ellen Greene as Audrey is. Same.
Particularly poignant,
Yeah.
especially with her dream to escape Skid Row.
Right.
She wants to go to somewhere that's green,
Yeah.
and it adds a layer of social commentary
Yeah.
to the film. Like everybody wants a better life, and
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
they'll go to great lengths to achieve it.
And then there's Steve Martin.
Oh,
He's unforgettable
yes.
as Orin Scrivello, the sadistic dentist.
He's the best.
He really embraces that over-the-top tone
So
of the
the-
film.
Like that song, Dentist.
Yes.
It's the perfect example of
Yeah.
how they balance that humor and horror.
Right.
It's catchy,
Yeah.
but it also makes you squirm a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by how they balance those two elements
It's amazing.
so well, because
Yeah.
it could have gone so wrong.
Oh, definitely.
But they really created this perfect blend
Right,
of
right.
creepy and campy.
Yeah, they nailed it.
They did.
And of course, we can't talk about Little Shop
Right.
without talking about Audrey II,
Of course.
the bloodthirsty plant.
The star of the show.
Yes.
I think it's amazing that Frank Oz,
Oh, yeah.
who is known for the Muppets,
Yeah.
decided to use practical effects
Right.
rather than CGI,
I know.
which was a bold choice at the time.
It really was.
But it paid off.
It did.
It's amazing what they were able to do.
I know that giant singing plant.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the artists and
Right.
the effects team.
Yeah.
They created this really complex puppet.
It is a complex puppet.
Yeah.
It's so terrifying, but also charismatic.
It really is.
It's mesmerizing to watch. And I read somewhere that they actually had to slow down filming to match the puppet's mouth movements.
I know, that's right.
To the singing. They pre-recorded the songs.
Yeah.
And the actors had to lip sync in slow motion.
Oh, wow.
Which is so hard.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to maintain that emotional intensity?
Right.
But in slow motion.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
Talk about dedication to the craft.
I know. It's amazing that it came together.
It really is.
So seamlessly.
And then the voice of Audrey II.
Oh, yes.
Provided by Levi Stubbs.
Of the Four Tops.
Of the Four Tops.
That's right.
I mean...
It's brilliant.
It's such an unexpected choice.
It is.
But it's so brilliant.
But a soul singer.
Yeah.
Voicing a man-eating plant.
I know it shouldn't work.
Yeah.
But it does.
It really does.
He manages to convey both, like, the menace and the charisma.
Yes.
It's like he's singing you into submission.
He is.
And that's kind of what happens to Seymour.
That's right.
He gets seduced by the plant's promises of fame and fortune. Yeah. Even though he knows it's wrong.
He does.
And that's where the film's deeper themes I think, start to emerge. Like greed, ambition, the compromises we make for success.
Exactly.
I mean, Seymour's dilemma is something I think we can all relate to on some level.
I think so, too.
Now that we've talked about the characters and the tone, I kind of want to like delve further into those deeper themes.
Yeah.
What makes Little Shop of Horrors more than just like a campy musical about a man-eating plant?
Well, it's fascinating how they use humor and spectacle to explore these like really dark and complex ideas.
Yeah.
It's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
But disguised as this musical comedy, and that's what makes it so compelling.
All right, so let's unpack those deeper layers.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's dig in.
All right. So, you know, it's interesting how the film frames Seymour's ambition.
Yeah.
In the context of Skid Row.
Right.
It's not just about him wanting to get ahead.
Right.
It's like he's trying to escape this system that feels as oppressive as Audrey II.
That's a great point. I mean, the Skid Row setting isn't just a backdrop.
Right.
It really is integral to like the themes of the story. And it makes his choices a bit more understandable.
Exactly.
Obviously, still morally questionable.
Of course. Yeah.
But you can see why he makes the choices he does.
You do.
And then there's Audrey.
Yeah.
Who dreams of escaping Skid Row.
Right.
And that's like symbolized perfectly.
Yes.
By that song, Somewhere That's Green.
Yeah.
Which I think speaks to that human need for hope.
Yes.
That longing for something better.
Yeah.
Even when everything around you is kind of bleak.
Especially when everything around you is bleak.
It is such a powerful song.
It really is.
Musically and lyrically.
Yeah.
And you really feel like the weight of her longing for a safer, more peaceful life.
Yeah.
And it highlights the limitations that are placed on those living in poverty.
Yes.
It's like they lack the means to achieve these dreams.
Yeah. And the film's kind of suggesting that these societal structures can be just as predatory as Audrey II.
Absolutely.
Keeping people trapped in these cycles of hardship.
It adds another layer to this cautionary tale.
It does.
It's not just about like individual greed.
Right.
It's about the systems in place that allow for exploitation.
Exactly.
And I think the film also touches on consumerism.
Oh, absolutely.
A little bit.
Audrey II is like this symbol of unchecked consumption.
Yeah. With its insatiable appetite and these promises of instant gratification.
That I want it all and I want it now mentality, which can be so destructive.
It's so true. And Seymour, who's initially hesitant, but ultimately seduced by the plant.
Yes.
I think reflects our own susceptibility to that temptation.
Oh, definitely.
We see how quickly he gets consumed by this desire for success.
Yeah.
And he sacrifices his values.
He does.
For just a taste of that good life.
And it's interesting how the film portrays the media in all this.
Yeah.
They just flock to Seymour.
Right.
They celebrate him, but they never question.
No, they don't question his methods.
No, not at all.
I think it's a commentary on how easily we get swayed by like the hype and the superficiality. And we ignore like the ethics of it all.
Yes.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of serious themes.
We have.
But we can't forget
that
Little Shop of Horrors is also
it's hilarious.
Incredibly funny.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. And I think the way that they blend that dark humor with social commentary is masterful.
It's brilliant. that make you laugh and think at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's such a rare gift.
It is.
And that's what makes this film so entertaining.
I think that tonal balance is key to its lasting appeal.
I think so too.
It's not just a preachy moral tale.
Right.
It's a film that understands humor.
Yes.
Can be used to deliver a message.
Yes.
In a very effective way.
Exactly.
And of course, the special effects.
Oh my gosh, the practical effects
are just amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about testament to artistry and skill.
It's incredible what they were able to accomplish.
It's easy to forget that those effects were pre-CGI.
Yeah, it was the 80s.
That puppetry is so convincing.
Yeah.
And so expressive.
You forget it's foam and latex.
You do.
It's wild.
It's wild. And it's even more impressive when you consider the challenges of working with such a complex puppet.
Yeah.
Like slowing down the filming to match the puppet's movements to the singing.
Imagine having to lip sync in slow motion. It must have been so hard.
Especially in scenes with intense emotions.
Exactly.
I mean, it really shows their commitment.
It really does.
They weren't just acting alongside a puppet.
Right.
They were collaborating with it.
They were.
Responding to all its nuances.
Absolutely.
And speaking of collaborating with the puppet, Levi Stubbs.
Oh, yes.
I mean, his performance as Audrey II is phenomenal.
It's incredible.
So powerful.
So nuanced.
So nuanced, and it's hard to imagine it.
Yeah.
Being as memorable without his incredible voice.
I know, he brings so much personality to the character.
He does.
Both menace and charm.
Yeah.
And he actually recorded his lines surrounded by mirrors.
Really?
Yeah, he was trying to embody the plant's perspective.
Wow, that's dedication. That's amazing. It really adds another dimension to the performance.
Yeah.
It's not just like giving voice to a puppet.
Yeah.
He's inhabiting this character.
Yeah.
Exploring its motivations.
It's remarkable.
It's incredible how much thought and detail went into every aspect of this film.
I know, and that's what I think elevates it beyond just a campy musical.
It's true.
There's so much artistry and passion.
It's true.
From the performances to the effects to the music.
And speaking of the music, those doo-wop inspired songs, they're not just catchy tunes.
They're not.
They're integral to the storytelling.
Yes.
They add layers of meaning and emotion.
They do. Each song serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Whether it's driving the plot, revealing a character's turmoil, or commenting on the social context.
Yeah. I'm always struck by, like, the contrast between the upbeat music and that dark subject matter.
Yeah, it creates this, like, tension.
Yes.
That keeps you on the edge of your seat.
And it's like a roller coaster.
It is.
Taking you through these highs and lows.
Yes.
Moments of laughter and moments of suspense.
Exactly. And it's reflected in the characters, too.
Right.
Who are constantly caught between what they want and what's right.
And Seymour especially.
Oh, yeah.
He's always wrestling with his choices, his ambition,
Yeah.
and his sense of morality.
It's a conflict we all face
We do.
in our own lives.
Yeah, and the film doesn't offer any easy answers.
It doesn't.
But it gives us that space to contemplate.
Yeah.
To examine our own values and motivations.
What would you do?
It's true.
What compromises would you make?
Yeah, what would we be willing to do
to
achieve our dreams?
Right.
And would we be willing to cross lines?
Yeah.
It's a tough question.
It is.
And I think that's what makes it more than just a fun musical.
Right. It stays with you long after it's over.
It does.
It makes you think.
Yeah. Before we move on to like the legacy of the film, I did want to touch upon something we mentioned earlier.
Okay.
The original ending.
Oh, yes.
I know you're probably familiar with the more upbeat ending that we see.
Right.
But the original was much darker.
Much darker.
With Audrey II, like, conquering the world.
Taking over.
It's amazing how, like, a change in ending can completely change the film's message.
It can't. That original ending would have been like a total cautionary tale, leaving you with like dread and despair.
It's almost like the studio maybe was worried about the audience reaction and wanted to inject a little hope.
A little bit of hope.
But do you think that darker ending would have been more impactful?
It's a good question.
More thought-provoking.
It's possible. The lighter ending gives us relief.
Right.
But it might undermine the film's message about ambition and consumerism.
It makes you wonder, like, what the filmmakers' true intentions were.
I know.
Did they want to create, like, a bleak warning?
Right.
Or was there always a glimmer of hope there?
That's the beauty of it. You can interpret it in so many ways.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's shift our focus to, like, The legacy of the film,
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors, has become this cult classic.
It has.
Why do you think it continues to resonate?
That's a great question.
With audiences decades later.
Well, first of all, it's just so entertaining. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
The music is catchy.
The music is so good.
Yeah.
And those special effects hold up. They really do.
Yeah.
They're still impressive.
It really offers something for everyone.
It does.
Whether you're into the horror,
Yeah.
the musical numbers, or the social commentary.
There's something for everyone.
And I think that's key to its lasting appeal.
It is. It balances everything so well.
Yeah, it's not just one thing.
Exactly.
It defies categorization.
It does.
And I think that makes it so unique.
It does.
It keeps you guessing. It's unpredictable. And I think those timeless themes also contribute to its popularity.
For sure.
Greed, ambition, the allure of success.
Right.
I mean, those are things that resonate with everyone.
Yeah.
It really taps into those primal desires and fears.
Reminding us that we can all be corrupted.
Yeah.
By power and temptation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cautionary tale that's as relevant today as it was in the 80s.
Yeah, it makes you laugh and think.
It does. And it stays with you long after it's over. And, you know, we can't forget about nostalgia.
Yeah.
A lot of people, this film takes them back to their childhood, to like a time when practical effects and musical numbers were just like what movies did.
Yeah, it reminds me of seeing it for the first time as a kid.
Yeah.
I was terrified. And I couldn't stop singing the songs.
I know.
And it really holds up.
It does.
Even after all these years.
Yeah. There's just a certain charm and whimsy to it that you don't really see in films today. It's like a reminder that movies can be silly, over the top, but still have something to say.
Right. And it manages to do all that while maintaining a sense of heart.
Yes.
You really care.
You too.
About these characters.
Even the ones making terrible decisions.
Even when they're feeding people to a plant.
Right. Yeah.
But I think what makes it so enduring is that message of hope. Even in the midst of like the chaos and the compromises.
There's a glimmer of optimism.
Yes.
A belief that even in the darkest times, you can find redemption.
I agree. It's a good reminder that even when we stumble and we make mistakes,
we all do.
There's always a chance to choose a different path.
That's right. And I think that message resonates with a lot of people.
I think it does.
Especially in a world that feels so overwhelming right now.
It can.
It reminds us that even in the shadows, there's always a little light.
Yeah, a possibility for growth.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was well said. And I think that's a good place to end.
It is.
Little Shop of Horrors is a film that keeps on entertaining, provoking, and inspiring.
Yes.
It really is a testament to like the power of imagination.
It is.
The magic of cinema.
Yeah.
And a good story.
Well said.
This has been such a rewarding deep dive.
It has.
We've explored everything.
We have.
From the film's origins to the characters to the themes to the lasting impact.
Yeah. But what about you?
Yeah.
What stands out to you the most about Little Shop?
What stands out to me the most is like how it balances all these different things. The humor and the horror, the satire, the heart.
Yeah.
It just...
And the spectacle.
And the spectacle.
Right.
It really defies easy categorization.
It does.
And I think that's what makes it so unique.
Yeah, and so enduring.
So for our listeners,
yes,
I hope this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
It's a film that deserves to be
celebrated,
discussed, and enjoyed for years to come.
For sure.
So thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
On this journey into the world of singing plants.
Doo-wop.
Doo-wop.
Ooh, and monstrous odds.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.